Panther Nation, welcome back to Inside the Jungle, your weekly talk show dedicated to all things Bay Area Panthers football. I'm your host, Christina Tetreault, and I'm here in downtown Morgan Hill in front of Sushi Confidential, where I'm about to sit down with head coach Rob Keefe to discuss the team's win against the Duke City Gladiators and look forward to the team's travels against the Vegas Nighthawks this upcoming Saturday at 6:05 p.m. Let's go. All right, we are back here at Sushi Confidential. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we are going to sit down over some food, have a nice little talk about all things football.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so we are coming off of a win, a very close game, and we are leading into a very intense game, 2 weeks on the road. So before we get into the specifics of each game, what would you say is the overall atmosphere right now for the team, the organization, as we are in the push to playoffs? And then we'll get into specifics.
Yeah, no, great question. Yeah, it's playoff time. You know, I think, for those who hopefully have been following us and those who are not following us, we're at the stage now where we're 10-2. Professional football, there's 16 games in our regular season in the indoor football league. So we have 4 regular season games left, which is now positioning for playoffs.
Sure.
And so this is where it gets very intense. All the training has kind of led up to this moment. And so I guess to answer the question, it's an awesome vibe. It's a good feeling. It's exciting. There's a sense of urgency.
That's got to be great to see.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. It's a good feeling. You know, I'm used to this. Obviously, I've been doing this for a long time, but really happy to see everybody kind of just focused and enthused for the future.
Yeah. So we're in that third quarter and actually entering into the fourth, So we are now officially entering into the fourth quarter of that full season. Bay Area Panthers only had one bye week thus far before any type of playoffs. Guys could be tired. How do you keep that energy and that momentum going so that people don't get discouraged, especially our rookies who have not been through a professional season this long before?
Yeah, so, when you're a rookie and you play collegiate football, normally you're probably talking 10, 11, 12 games at most, maybe if you have a bowl game.
Sure, and most likely you're not playing all of them.
Yeah, and so, 12 to 13 games. So this is kind of the max that a lot of these guys have played. So now we're in 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks. First round, second round, championship, obviously, if we're fortunate enough to make there. So it's a long season. So it's the way you practice. It's the way you prepare. A lot of talks, obviously, a lot of, for me, I'm an over-communicator. I'm going to paint the picture. I'm going to let them know. So for day one, we've been kind of talking about the process of how to maintain your body, how to manage yourself, how to prepare. We practice very smart. It's very intentful in terms of how we script practice and what we do for our recovery for our players. Got a great strength and conditioning, athletic training staff that helps these guys out. They've been doing a great job. So there's a lot that goes into it, but everybody's prepared and everybody's pushing through.
That's great. Now we're coming off of a win, Duke City Gladiators. A lot of headlines coming out of that game, but let's start off with the most positive, the best overall. Hey, we came across with another win. How did that feel? Final score divided by 2 points, but came out with a win on an away field, someone else's territory, and we've only got one more week till we're coming home. How do you feel?
Yeah, in professional football, it's all about winning football games. I mean, that's just what it is. It's a results-based business. I'm never going to be the coach that says, "Oh, we should have won by 50." You celebrate every win. Every win's different.
Yeah.
Or we get everybody's best. Not comparing us to the Kansas City Chiefs, but when you're the defending Super Bowl champion, we're the defending indoor football league champion. Like, we're not sneaking up on anybody.
Right.
Everybody knows that these guys are great. They're
the
well
one to beat.
Without a doubt. They're well coached, and I'm not. That's not me being cocky or egotistical. That's just a fact. So we're battle tested. We get everybody's best. So yeah, I'm happy to get out. We won 34-32. Hey, celebrate a victory. A win's a win on the road, especially when you're like you said, you're in a hostile environment. Duke City's a different animal because they're 1-11. They're having a tough go of it.
And a lot of changes.
A lot of changes, a lot of personnel turnover, changes of coaching staff, guys getting released. So sometimes, that can kind of make you a little off kilter because you don't know what to prepare for.
Sure.
And then at the same time, hopefully our guys didn't take a team lightly. I mean, we started, 14-0. We were losing the game in the second quarter there. So got a little shaky, plus the altitude. So that's, 100 feet higher than Denver, Colorado. So you talk about mile high. So the guys were breathing hard. Altitude was a factor. You could tell concentration, oxygen. Guys were getting a little dehydrated. Those are all factors when you go away. You have to know how to manage the territory that you're going
Sure.
into, but nonetheless had a great second half. Won the football game and proud to get out of there with a win.
Now, coming out with that win as well, what are tactics that the team uses when there are so many uncertainties? Knowing that, just in case anyone has not followed, like head coach, same week of the game, released from the organization, new head coach coming in. He obviously has quite a lot of background. Did you two play together previously?
We did not know.
So what was it like not playing with him prior, and also with that change with very short notice? What are the tactics you use to prepare when there are those uncertainties?
Well, for the guys too, I think sometimes just human nature, you think you're kind of being lulled to sleep a little bit. It's kind of like the tortoise and the hare. You just assume, hey, we're 10-2, they're 1-11, or whatever records were, 9-2, or 1-10, and so. If you take them lightly, all of a sudden you get in the game where you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, well, we're losing this football game. And so
mental battle at that
without
point.
a doubt, and you just have to be a pro. And so I think the talk through this week, after this week, is no matter who you're playing, you're focused on being a professional. And so, you have to look at everybody equally. You got to always prepare for everybody's best. You respect all opponents. And your preparation shouldn't change based on who you're playing.
Right.
And I think that's a real talk for anybody who's young in the sports world or business, I guess. It's like, regardless of the situation, you should always prepare at a high level. And so, that was a really good learning experience for us. Again, happy to get the win.
Yeah.
But when there's a lot of changes, sometimes it's kind of hard to get a read on them because
Yeah.
you don't know what they're doing and they don't have tendencies, and there's kind of some newness there. And so we kind of managed that storm, and we're able to obviously do what we needed to do to get the W.
A lot of highlights that came from that. We were coming off of a week with some difficult headlines when it came to our offense, but there were some great headlines coming out of this game. Daquan Neal performed very, very well. Actually, if anyone was listening to the broadcast, it's so evident that he is so well loved by so many people in the IFL community, especially those who know he has a past playing for Dixie Wooten. And so what was it like to go ahead and see him perform at such a great level? And also, correct me if I'm wrong, he was leading into this game with, was it 20 touchdowns for the season thus far?
Yeah, he's got a lot of touchdowns.
I was going to say, I think he's ending now at 25.
Yeah, so he had a 5-touchdown game rushing-wise. He did a heck of a job. Did everything he needed to do to win that football game. I mean, he really put the offense on his back. I mean, he really did. I mean, obviously there's a lot of guys that contribute, don't get me wrong. But, your starting quarterback, when the ball's in your hands, I mean, there's an expectation there. I mean, that's, you're the starting quarterback.
Right.
You have to, obviously execute.
There's a reason you have a headline in a teen movie.
Without a doubt. I mean, that's just what it is. It's the ultimate position in the ultimate team sport, right? And so that position has to play great, and that's just the expectation that we have for our starting quarterback in this organization. And so, really proud of him. Love him to death. We go way back as well. My first indoor football experience, I got to coach him in 2021, so I was really appreciative of that because just what an amazing athlete. And so, Coach Wooten's been with him for a long time, and they really trust each other and kind of get in the flow. But again, we're getting everybody's best, and so Daquan knows that, and so he's toughing through this. I mean, he really is doing a great job. And so we were actually in the same situation that we were the week before in San Diego. We had the ball. We had to get a first down to win the football game. We didn't accomplish that versus San Diego. We lost. We accomplished that in Duke City. And that's the kind of stuff for me as a head coach. It's like, we're winning those things. That's what this is about.
Even one play at a time.
One play at a time. Let's get better. That's my job. Are we improving? Yes, I want to win every football game, but are we really improving? Because again, and not saying I have a crystal ball, but I've done this for so long, and I've been in so many. I've never not made the playoffs, so I've been in a lot of situations, a lot of high-level games, a lot of championships. I'm very aware of what it takes, and that's just me with my experience. And so I know there's deficiencies that we have to work on. Every team is trying to work on their deficiencies. Every team's trying to, is it schematically, is it technique, is it personnel, is it effort, energy? Well, everybody's like, we got to get better here, whatever it might be. And it's never effort, it's never energy. And, we did a great job, I think, of doing what we needed to do in that third and fourth quarter to win that football game. Still have to get better, but it's awesome to be able to build and get better after a victory. And so really happy that they was, Daquan, 5 rushing touchdowns says a lot about who you are.
Quick tangent leading a little bit deeper into Daquan before we go back to overall with the game. What is it like for you to have known an athlete so long and to see him adapt to so many different teams at this level and still be able to improve and adapt throughout a season and throughout different games?
Well, these leagues, as I said, I said, these leagues is non-NFL league, right? They're based on 1-year contracts, and the indoor football league is not different, right? So every year you can find yourself on a different team. I've been on a lot of different teams. Let's see, and just off the top of my head, I mean, I've won 7 championships and with 5 different teams. So, I mean, it's like, you can find yourself on a different team, quite often when you're only signing 1-year contracts, depending on, league movement, team shifting and, different ownership or whatever it might be. So DeQuan in 2021 with Iowa, in 2022 he's with Tucson, 2023 he's with Vegas, 2024 he's with us. So he's seen a lot. So for me, I want him to win a championship.
Yeah.
I want him to win a championship. I want to help him win a championship. I want to help him accomplish that. If I'm just a small piece of his success, I tell all the players just like, I mean, I'll know these guys for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I'm here for them. I want them to see success, and like any teacher, I think you just want your students to reach their ultimate goals.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about it. So, really care about him, and yeah, it's awesome to see his growth. And just to see his maturity. And there's a big difference of a 24-year-old to a 28-year-old.
Right.
And so that's what I like seeing, and the leadership and the ability to now take over a game, lock in, understand what is at stake, and he's definitely he's helping those around him understand that as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, we're putting that lens back out. Overall game, what are some more highlights that you want to make sure that we mention that we haven't thus far for the Duke City game before we talk forward about Vegas?
I think we did a great job on defense. Our defense is doing a really good job. Last 2 weeks, we're getting better. I always want to be better. That's just how I am. But statistically, we're getting a lot of stops, and that's a great thing. I think we might have 11 stops in the last 2 games. If you take it the game before that, we got 7. So you put 3 games together, 18 stops is a lot. And so we have to continue that trend.
The energy that brings,
without a doubt,
is electric.
And our offense knows that our defense has a back. Defense knows that our offense. I mean, we play very complementary football. Well, we have to be better, on both sides, with less. But Darren Hungerford had a great game.
Yes.
Sacked the quarterback twice. He was all over the place. He was smacking the quarterback for Duke City there. D-line was getting after it. DBs, really stepped it up in the second half there. We only gave up 1 touchdown in the second half, which was great. And so I'm just really proud of just every game. It seems like another person is stepping up. Everybody's doing their job. Everybody's happy for the other person when they do their job. There's no selfishness on our team. That's the way that we build it with the people and the personnel involved. And so they've really bought into the team system. But really, really happy to see. Shane Simpson didn't play last week, so Ben Jones stepped up. So Ben Jones took it on himself. Josh Tomas is playing really well. Offensive line is there. Kyle Davis didn't play, so Josh Castro, Josue Castro played, which was great. He did a great job. Sharp, LaQuinton Sharp is doing a heck of a job. So there's a lot of guys. Bryce Rogers and Sue Kamara were playing instead of Morris Joseph. So there's a lot of little bits and pieces that guys are filling in. We have great depth. Everybody's stepping up and doing their job, and just really happy to see that.
One last question there. When you always mention depth, and that's something we've talked about pretty consistently here as a part of Inside the Jungle, what benefits is that depth for that push to playoffs? Because it feels like right now is really where we're going to see a lot of reaping the benefit.
Well, I think going back to your first question, when it comes to players playing this long that haven't played a long professional season, if you don't have great depth, A, you're not practicing probably hard, and then B, your team is just kind of wearing out because you're playing the same guys consistently.
Right.
So some guys need breaks, and that's just the truth of it. So if a guy needs a break based on injury or just rest or whatever it might be, or we feel like there's a better matchup, whoever we're facing, the guy that then steps in, do we not miss a beat? Do we get better? Do we, it creates competition. I think competition breeds success. So there's that healthy competition, but also it actually continues the machine. And my job is not to let the machine break down. I want the machine to continue to go. And that's what I think great depth brings to.
Clean engine.
Without a doubt.
So, looking forward, we are about to hit the road. We are going to be heading to Las Vegas, another away game. Vegas is very much a rival, similar to the Rattlers. Now one of 2 teams we've lost to, our very first loss of the season, unfortunately. But as we go into Nighthawk territory in Vegas, what are we looking at in regards to their team? What are the challenges that we could be facing?
Yeah, look, very physical, very intense football team. They're getting a great fan base, a great crowd, which I'm really happy to see. I want everybody you're only as good as your partners, right?
Yeah.
And so you want, I want every team to have a great fan base. I want every team to have packed houses. That ultimately is going to grow this league, which is what we're all trying to do here. But yeah, it's enemy territory. For those who don't know, it's like 112 degrees right now in Vegas, so it's extremely hot.
It's rivaling Phoenix right now.
Dehydration.
Yeah.
Cramping. That we got to make sure that we're hydrated properly.
So different. We have so much moisture here.
Without a doubt,
Yeah,
and so there's altitude up there as well. Obviously, we're at sea level here, so there's a lot of factors there. But plus, you have a very good football team, and I have all the respect in the world for Vegas. Great offensive coordinator, great defensive scheme. Really good players. I mean, they're very, very physical. Last time we played them, they beat us, pretty handily, and so 62-43. I mean, that's 19-point difference is a lot. And it's the first time that, I've been beat like that in a long time. And not bringing myself involved, but if you look to last year, we lost 5 games total, and the largest margin of defeat was only 7 points.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of close little beats. So that was the first kind of beat down that I've had in a little while. And so it kind of wakes you up, and that's they've been doing really, really well. We're 10-2. They're 9-3. They dropped a couple that I know they wish they had back. So this is gonna be a big one, and. This could potentially be for the number 1 seed. When you talk about now, it's not going to clinch anything because you still have to win the 3 games after it. But we win this, it'll kind of create that separation. They're very aware of that. If they win, it'll kind of help them, get to that number 1 seed. So everybody's aware.
Yeah.
Everybody's aware of what's going on right now, and we're going to get their best. They're going to get our best. I think it's going to be one heck of a football game, and that's why we got to play it on Saturday night.
Who should people have their eyes on in regards to our roster leading into this?
I love that you asked that because, I always want to highlight players, but, I never want to give the game plan away, but everyone's involved. I mean, they really, really are. I mean, it really is the ultimate team sport. Obviously, your quarterback has to take care of the football. Daquan has to have a great game. I mean, there's they have a great quarterback in himself, so, their quarterback has to take care of the football. Turnovers, nobody wants to give the ball back, to the other team. So for us, we want to take care of the football. We want to get the ball back. We want to make sure we execute on special teams properly. We want to make sure we have great field position. We want to make sure that we're flying around, we're physical. We're going to take their best bunches. So, penalties we want to keep low. I mean, so there's, everybody has kind of a similar game plan. Now it's a matter of what the scheme is going to be used. I think they're highly creative on offense, so our defensive players have to make sure that they're just locked in. And then they're very creative on defense. They mix in a lot of different looks, and they're trying to confuse you. On top of that, they're extremely physical. So, they know that we're professional. We're going to break them down. They're breaking us down. Everybody's getting their kind of, their feel for the tendencies and whatnot. And so it's going to be a good one. Like, I highly respect Vegas. I highly respect the teams that are in this league. Every time we seem to be talking about a team, we are talking about a rival because that's what it is. So if you look at the standings to show you
top 4.
Without a doubt, how competitive, top 5 really, how competitive this.
By a single game.
Without a doubt. So we're 10-2. Vegas is 9-3. Northern Arizona is 8-4, San Diego is 8-5, and then Arizona is 8-5. And so that's nobody has clinched a playoff berth. So we're 10-2, and we have not even clinched a playoff berth, which shows you how competitive this side is.
The margin line is so small.
Without a doubt. So it's cool, and it makes you stronger, and it makes you on your toes, and we get everybody's best, like I said.
I also feel as though that would bring a much sweeter victory to the person to the team who does win the championship.
Without a doubt.
Because knowing that the margins are so close.
Without a doubt. I don't think anything, just how I live my life, anything that is worth something, if it was easy, it wouldn't be that exciting. It's like, it's all about the adversity and the perseverance and the toughness of the battle that makes it that much sweeter. And so, if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. That's the whole point. And so I like that it's hard. We like that it's competitive. It makes it that much better. It makes it that much better.
You're getting yourself choked up.
I'm getting myself choked up here. It makes it that much better. And so that's where, for me as a person, it's I enjoy the competition. We enjoy the teams that we're going against. And, I'm glad the players are toughing through this because, again, this is a battle. And I like that. I like the indoor football league is taking it to the next level, coaching-wise, player-wise. It's getting really good.
Now, as we continue to, I always want to do a fun play on words here, break bread, but really like break rice,
Break rice.
As we
share
break
rice
and share rice. Question for you in that. How do you instill that same type of competitive nature, but also that tenacity that you just mentioned of things being worth effort, being worth it? How do you instill that in your athletes?
Well, you got to pick the right guys. I think, it does start inherently with the person. We select people here that are just highly competitive. If you're not highly competitive, I can tell very quickly. And I don't really relate to people that are not highly competitive in the profession that I'm in. And you have to be a good teammate. You got to be a positive person. You got to be a guy who recognizes the team sport. You can't be selfish when it comes to the daily preparation of how we help others. You have to be, again, like I said, highly competitive. I mean, there's a lot of that goes into this. And there's a fine balance. Like for me as a coach, there's a lot of push and pull. I know when to push. I know when to kind of pull back. I know everybody has a different button that I need to push or I need to ruffle a feather or two to kind of get guys motivated. And I'm doing it because I love them, and the minute I stop talking to you is the minute I don't care. So if I'm saying something to you, it's because I actually want you to get better and I actually want to invest in you. So that's how I feel. But yeah, I mean, to get to be 10-2, you have to have highly competitive people. But again, too, seeing 10-2, 9-3, 8-5.
Right.
I mean, everybody's highly competitive,
Yeah.
and so there is this next level of competition that you just have to embrace, and you have to. We talk about pressure is privilege. And so
It's a good line.
a lot of people that
a really good line.
don't play at a professional level,
Right.
they don't know this is pressure. This
Right.
is awesome to me. I love it. I hope people are booing me and yelling at me and throwing things at me on the road. That's I think it's awesome,
And
and
almost that thought of it means that you're doing something right.
without a doubt, and so that's where we are in a great position to be in this place, to go on the road, to have the ability to, hopefully, put ourselves in a really good position from a number one seed standpoint to get this victory in Vegas. I mean, it's going to be a good one. Excuse me.
I think I took a bite right.
I should have said no. I should have kept going. You do that to me. You do a good job. So if you took a bite, I should have continued. I left it dead. I think I have a little pepper in my throat. I don't know what's going on.
It's all right. You're getting choked up. You love these guys. You can share your emotions to the camera.
I do. I do.
Actually, on that note, leading with sarcasm, but really actually going into the emotion. We've talked about this in quite a few episodes that we have been so fortunate with Inside the Jungle to be able to also feature a lot of our players this far.
Yeah.
We filmed about 10 of our players, and we just officially released the new Inside the Jungle Special Edition, which is a weekly segment hearing directly from the mouths of one of our players. And the interviews are more in-depth, learning about them as an athlete on and off the field. And so last week, we just officially released the very first one, Antoine Kincaid.
Yep.
We're going to be releasing another every Friday. These Inside the Jungle segments, of course, with you, our head coach Rob Keefe, every Thursday, and so it is very evident the admiration and adoration between the coaches and the players. Every single player who we have interviewed thus far, all 10, have unpromptedly completely just started to sing the praises of the coaching staff and also the intentionality behind your coaching with them. So it's really evident that that's a mutual respect and mutual adoration.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to hear that. And again, it's like we're here to serve them. Like I really believe that. I really believe in servant leadership.
They are the franchise.
Without they are the product. I mean, I want nothing but the best for these guys. And then again, too, like they're going to be coaches, right? And it's just a matter of time. So I played 6 years professionally, and I started coaching at a very young age, and what helped me was the coaches that I had to kind of learn from, and then you kind of learn what you like, what not to do, what you kind of formulate your own kind of style about it. But these guys are absorbing everything, and so they know that we have their best intentions at heart. They know that we want them to be successful. They really trust us. That's a big thing too. And like, if we were 2-10, they might not trust us. It'd be a different story. It'd be very difficult to kind of earn that trust. But at 10-2, I mean, they understand that we're doing the right things. I mean, it creates a great bond. So I'm glad they get to be highlighted. So I appreciate you. It's you guys do such a great job with the show, and
thank you.
I'm excited for the fan base to just know more and more about these guys because they really are special people.
Such special people. Again, always talks to the quality and the character of the men you are recruiting. And as we lead into it, so it's no question here the headlines. We're coming off of a win. We're leading into a highly competitive game. We'll make sure at the end of the episode to share all the details of how people can watch the game, support us, etc. So let's lean into that just a little bit here. You're talking about the support for these gentlemen. They're making a big life change, moving many of them across the country for yet another chance to play professional football. Really a chance that so many men do not get. You said a statistic last week I want us to reemphasize, and it's the number of players in the United States who play professional football, because so many people think, oh, that's just NFL. But NFL is even a smaller number, right? What are the margins of that, the approximate margins of that fraternity, if you will?
So if you take the 4 major leagues that are playing in American football are the NFL, obviously, the Canadian Football League, the UFL, which is the team, the league that The Rock owns, right? So that's a lot of good publicity, and then the Indoor Football League. And so when you look at all that, there's about 2,500 people in the NFL on a given year, maybe 500 in the CFL, 500 in the UFL, 500 in the IFL. And so when you put all those together, it's about 4,000 people that are playing professional football, yet there's 400 million people in America. And so, give it 380 million, whatever it might be, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of people that are playing professional football. So these guys are the 1% of the 1%. And so my job as a personnel director is I look for the players who are the best players that are not in these other leagues. And so if you look at it like a baseball standpoint, the NFL is a major league. The CFL and the UFL, very AAA baseball-like, and we're kind of that AA affiliate, and that's a good way to look at it. So our guys have the ability to rise
Absolutely.
to the next level. We get a lot of guys that are coming down as well, so it's kind of like that elevator life. It's awesome to see when your players, like last year, we had a lot of players that got picked up to these leagues.
It was somewhere between 8 and 11.
We actually had 14 guys, actually.
14
and so,
guys.
because we had guys that we signed earlier in the year that people
left.
don't even know,
correct.
and they left. And so it's
pretty early on, too.
Which is awesome. And so it shows kind of the quality of players that we look for. And it also shows how these leagues value what we do here, too, because they're always kind of scouting out our guys. So we get a lot of phone calls throughout the weeks of exploratory phone calls of our players. What are they doing? Are they good teammates? Do they understand the playbook? How are they playing? Can I see some relevant game film? We're hearing some good stuff about these. So you never know when these players are going to get picked up. But with that being said, they are the 1% of the 1%. So this is, and I always get this too, when people come out to the games, they're shocked a little bit.
Right.
They're like, whoa, this is like legit. I was like, yeah, these guys are one phone call away for getting to the NFL. And so that says a lot about, who they are, and I think the type of athleticism that they display, and really happy we get to coach them and help them, achieve their goals.
Yeah. Now, again, we know all the headlines that are leading into this game, so diving into that a little bit more. You're mentioning what type of support system you and the coaching staff are really providing for these gentlemen in their careers at whatever point they are. Who poured into you to help make you the person you are? We haven't really gone into I don't feel like we've gotten into these personal questions. Chris is giving me a smirk behind the camera. I just figure if we're getting emotion, and he says it's Pepper choking him up.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, but who really, just to reverse that, who poured into you to help develop you as the coach that you are? You've won 7 championships. There are headlines that can be made there, branding, if you will. But who poured into you coaching wise? That you would like to mention, and what did they teach you to make who you are?
I think for me, I've been very fortunate. I wasn't the greatest athlete in the world. For me as a player, a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of ebbs and flows. And so, this is one of these sports where you can't do it all by yourself. Like there's no way. For anybody that says they've done it all by themselves, there's just absolutely no way that you could say that somebody had to have taken a shot on you.
Sure.
Somebody had to have offered me a contract. Somebody had to have said, you know what, yes, you're on this team. Somebody had to give me the opportunity to become a starter or whatever it might be, to give me, that's the pieces that the coaches are, really in the position of power to do, where they can easily say, no, we don't want you on the team. Without a doubt, like I can't just join a team just because I want to be on the team.
Right, it's not a rec league sign up.
Not at all. So every coach that I've played for, I really appreciate, because A, they give me the opportunity to grow as a player. And then really too, it's really interesting that you say that. Like, I've had a lot of coaches, again, in the leagues that I played in, like the IFL, a lot of one-year contracts. So I got to see kind of what I liked and what I didn't like. And the entire time I'm kind of formulating this plan of what kind of coach would I be? What would I do? How would I do things differently? A little bit about me, for the coaching life, that I started coaching at 25, where I was playing arena football, and in the off seasons I was coaching at a small college called Pikeville College, and so I had an opportunity to coach there, you know, and so to give me that opportunity to become a very, very young coach, and that's when I realized, hey, I really like doing this. So as I was playing March through August in the Arena Football League, then August through December I was coaching. In collegiate football, and so there was a lot of these experiences that I had all across the country with a lot of great coaches, and then obviously when I was playing, to be on a lot of great teams and to be very, very fortunate to do that. But when I look back on it, so kind of like the all-encompassing answer is just like, you know, I busted my ass. You know, I really, really did. And, you know, I hard work pays off. It really does. And, you know, I didn't take any of it for granted. When I was at a lower level, you know, I was, you know, all-star. And then I made it to a higher level. I was a role player and did whatever it took to. And so you take ego out of it, you know, ultimate team sport. Everybody that I was on a team with are friends with me to this day. Like, I love those guys. I love following everybody on social media and seeing all the families. And, I mean, there's some serious, you know, high-level achievers that I played with that are now, you know, professional businessmen, coaches in major college football, work in the NFL. I mean, there's a lot of things that I've seen. And so, yeah, you know, just great experiences. And so I think ultimately it wasn't one person. But again, being the ultimate team sport, a lot of opportunity. If I really broke down how I got from, you know, 18 years old to now at 43, all these teams, you know, that I've been on as a player, as an assistant coach, as a head coach, and all these different, you know, just here for the Bay Area Panthers, like the ownership. I'm so grateful for them for allowing me to be the head coach and signing me to a contract and wanting me to come here. And so, you know, you can't do it alone. And so it really takes a village, and just really appreciative for all the opportunity that I have been afforded to me to be able to grow into the coach that I am today.
Any words of wisdom you have to people who are on that brink of deciding, hey, am I going to continue pursuing playing, or should I continue, if I really have that nudge of maybe wanting to coach, should I pursue that? Words of wisdom you have to them.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so we talk about that. So there's, you know, without giving too much information away, there's a couple players on our team right now that got offered coaching positions even last year. And so they turned those down because they still wanted to play. And I said, absolutely, you know, they called and I get the advice. I did. I gave that advice. I said, look, if you're not done playing, you can coach till you're 100 years old. I mean, that's. I started coaching full time, you know, after I was done playing at 28 years old, and I still felt I probably could have played till I was 36. You know, in great shape, could have done it. A league or two folded. There was kind of a lot of things. It was 2008 housing crisis, you know, things kind of got a little weird there financially.
All of the other things that you can't control in life, right? That impact people's careers, their life changes.
Absolutely. And then it presented to me, it's like, hey, I guess this is time for me to start. You know, maybe the signs are saying, hey, you know, I felt like I got my fill. Started coaching, and I, you know, really, I missed playing a little bit. Actually had the belief that after I coached for 1 year, I was going to go back to playing with a higher level.
How were those workouts?
You know, and exactly. You know, and then you realize, you know, you're exactly right. When you take a year off, it gets a little weird. But then I realized I love coaching. And so basically the advice that I'd give to players or anybody who wants to coach that's leaving a profession athletically to get into the coaching life is like, make sure you're done. You know, make sure that you're fully done. Make sure that you've I mean, because you only can play for so long. And then, you know, I can coach for 50 years. You know, you only can play for. So, yeah, I had a 5 to 6 year professional football career, and I've been a 15-year professional coach, and so love every minute of it. And it's a way that I obviously stay active. You know, I'm a football lifer. I mean, this is what I do for a living. I love it, and yeah, it's you got to make sure that this is what you really want to do. And there's a lot of players, and the reason why I say that, they'll stop playing to then coach, realize they don't like coaching, and then they miss playing, and it's hard to go back. So I'm like, hey, get as much playing out as you possibly can until you think your time, until your body says, hey man, you know, it's time to stop. And you know, everybody has a different process, but yeah, there's always opportunity there if you want it. I promise you that.
Are you ever going to tell us who those guys are, and will you tell us what teams they wind up coaching for, so we as the Bay Area Panthers can continue to support them?
Well,
can you break it here first?
This is how it works. So these guys eventually, when they want, like they're going to be coaches for hopefully me one day, and you know, work with me. You know, and then you know, they don't coach for me; they coach with me. And so, you know, that's how I look at it. Without a doubt, you know. So like I coached for coaches that I played for, you know, and it's all about connectivity. It's all about connections. You see that a lot, even in collegiate football, in the NFL football. Quarterbacks that played at a college are now the offensive coordinators at that college. I mean, there's a lot of that goes on. Plus, they know the system. They're familiar. I know their work ethic. They know we know how to work together. So yeah, it's like any business. You kind of just go up the ranks. And so yeah, from player to coach to then head coach, and then they go off and they're able to spread their wings. And so I want to be there and be a resource for them any way I possibly can. So yeah, I know a lot of guys are thinking that way, because I was like, look, I was a 28-year-old head coach. And so these guys who are 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, I'm like, guys, like you can do this.
Right.
Like I did it, and so I'm only 43. And so
that's an interesting mental shift too, when you're in the midst of your playing career too, of knowing that it's not far off, or it could be, or what step is that going to be? What phone call is that going to be?
Sure. And so, yeah, well, I mean, I'm always going to be there for him. And, if there wasn't a spot open here, I get phone calls all the time. Hey, do you think this guy would be a great coach? Absolutely. And so that's a whole nother aspect of it. Like I get a lot of, and not just coaching wise. I mean, teachers and firefighters and police officers and managers and people that
so much of anything in career is talking about their character and work ethic, right? They're like, I can teach you a skill, but if they're a good person.
You're exactly right. And I get phone calls all day long about resumes and references. And, I mean, that's what it's all about. Anything I can do to help these guys, progress in their future lives, I want to help.
Yeah. Coach, thank you for letting us go and jumping into more of like that ethos of behind football and just the fact that this is obviously, like you always say, it's professional football and these are people's lives.
Yep.
Okay, with all that being said, how can we support the gentlemen on the field, especially for an away game and for such a highly competitive game?
Yeah, to get back into Vegas, I mean, this is really going to be a game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a good football game. I suggest if people really want to watch this, I mean, you got to go to the Indoor Football League YouTube channel. You have to look this up. You watch the game. It's 6:05 Pacific time. Vegas obviously is on West Coast time, just like we are. So it's going to be a real good game. I mean, Saturday night, it's going to be extremely intense. It's going to be extremely physical.
How many people do you think are going to come out in Vegas?
Well, see, the thing about Vegas is awesome. It's a cool arena because it's only about 7,500 people can fit in the arena. So when they get 5,000 in the arena, it's packed.
Totally.
And so we talked about that today. I mean, it's a small arena. Even though it might have the same amount of people that we have at the SAP Center, it seems bigger because of the amount of people that are there. And it's really intimate. The ceiling's not that high. It's without a doubt, like right on top of you. You're going to have to listen up in the huddle. Offensively, it's going to be extremely loud. You talk about the humidity, the heat. I mean, 120 degrees. I mean, whatever it is out there. I mean, it's going to be a big one. Yeah, without a doubt. And then again, there's Vegas too. There's a professionalism when you travel to Vegas. We're going to be in a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
We're actually we stay in the Vegas, the Las Vegas Raiders team hotel. So it's a really nice hotel, casinos everywhere. So there's that kind of professionalism that you have to make sure you lock in. So the guys are ready for it. We've had great talks this week. Vegas knows we're professional. Like I know they're professional. Yeah. It's going to be a great game for the league.
High energy.
It is. And so, I suggest please support us. Watch it. Follow on YouTube. And then again, too, we're doing a great job. The Twitter, right? We're doing live tweeting, which I think is awesome, which is cool. And so, follow that if you can't see it on YouTube, and support us on all our social media channels and BayAreaPanthersNetwork.com and BayAreaPanthers.com and all these kind of cool, right? It's just it's awesome. I got them all down, right? You're proud of me now.
Down pat.
Got down pat. But we're growing, and I like that people are growing with us.
Yes. Coach, thank you again so much, everyone. Thank you for watching another episode of Inside the Jungle, and we will see you next week here on the network.
Awesome. Thank you.